Okay, well this might be a little washed out, but I'm just tracing my patterns with this Praying Deep Shade pencil. Probably not advisable if you're doing delicate sewing where, you don't want the pattern lines to show, but it will wash out, so I'm not too concerned about it. This is what I mean by on the diagonal. You can see I've cut across the straight grain here, but the head I've kind of slanted a little bit so it's on the diagonal because I want that to stretch this way, from the chin to the top of the head more than from the back of the head to the nose. And then the legs, you'll notice the feet turn opposite ways. Doesn't matter so much because in the end they're going to tip up and the toes are going to come forward. So that doesn't matter so much. With the arms, when you sew the arms onto the body, the one thing you do want to make sure is that when you put the arm on the body, that the thumb faces up, because that's just the normal way that the hand works. The thumb goes to the top of the hand. So the thumb faces front. So I usually try to get in the habit when I'm tracing patterns. I mean, double doesn't matter because it's going to be three-dimensional and I can turn them either way. But I always try to get in the habit of turning like the thumbs in opposite directions so they either face each other or face away from each other. And that matters when your fabric has a right and wrong side. Muslin doesn't matter so much, but if you had a right and wrong side, the position of the pattern when you cut it out, whether it's on the back side of inside, the wrong side of the fabric, or if it's on the pretty side of the fabric, that's going to make a difference. In this case, I don't have to worry about it. Yay. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just, let me see if I can move that up. Just taking a pencil. I know some people like to see everything, and I'm going to try to stay out of the way as much as I can. I'm just taking a pencil. And, medium pressure. I'm hitting the crack of my table. Not trying to be too gentle or too hard. It especially don't want to be too hard. Between the fingers is going to be a little difficult because the point in the middle of the fingers is very tight. But I can fix that when I'm done. So I'm just going around. And I'm tracing the whole thing. There will be openings on each piece to allow me to get in there and stuff. And in the case of the fingers, to put some wire in. But that's what that looks like. And you can see right here, the finger looks like a little stump. But really what that is supposed to be is a actual finger. So when I sew, I'll actually sew on each side of this line and then cut in the middle. Let me get that, see if I can bring it in a little for you. Oh, excuse me, I'm moving the camera over. So what I'm going to do, you can see how the line comes in. And this is actually the inside, because when I'm done with sewing and the trimming and everything, then I will turn these right side out, which will be the inside that you can't see right now. But when I sew these, I will sew on the line till I get to here, and then I will sew on this side, on the inside, outside, whatever, the left side of that line. I sew around an arch over the top, and then I will sew on the right side of the line, and then around the point of the finger. And I will do the same thing with the next one. I'll sew on the left side to the arc and come around and do the right side. Same with this one. And then when I'm done, I'll be able to take my tiny scissors and just cut those lines. And she will have 4 fingers and her thumb. But her thumb I don't have to worry about because the thumb is already hanging loose. So, thank you. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There it is. And I'll see you when I have something else to show. Okay, well, this is the whole doll. All patterns made, cut out, traced, and on the fabric. And the way I do this is I leave this all together until I get up to my sewing machine, and then I figure out, like, I might cut the head off of this piece, the chunk off there, maybe cut the legs off in a chunk, and then I'll sew around everything. You know, just do my thing around, leaving my openings where I need to get into stuff and put wire and stuff. And then I cut it all out with my pinking shears. I clip my curves, because you always clip into the edge, but you don't cut through your sewing seam. You clip in on curves, and then you turn. And as long as you're clipping in on the curves, you won't have the puckering on the outside. Well, sometimes you will, but it won't be as bad when you clip the curves. So the next time you see this, I may have it all sewn up. Well, all the pieces sewn into manageable parts. And we'll be going from there. Okay, well, I've gotten it all sewed together, or sewn together. Well, the pieces. And so we have 2 legs, a head, it's hard to see because I did it in white thread, hands, and a body that you can see I've already cut out. This is what I do, is I use my pinking shears, because then, like, on the inside curve to the neck, it's already like clipped, so it shouldn't pucker. And anything I didn't get close enough, or I don't think I got close enough, where I can just go in and make a little extra length in the clip. But this way, it's all, the fabric bends out without pulling the stitches. So that's the body. I'm not sure the head's gonna work. That's the only part I'm a little bit uneasy about. I don't think you can see the stitch. Well, you might be able to see them on that side. And then again, maybe not. But you'll see where I've done the double lines around the fingers, so that I'll be able to take my scissors after I clip around it with my pinking shears, the general outline. I'll be able to take these scissors and just go in between those 2 lines, and that'll open up the fingers for articulation. So, and I know I didn't say this, but this is June 6th, 2017. And until this point, everything's been done today. I think I'm going to continue. I'm probably going to do the cutting with the pinking shears. These are pinking shears, and they are a marvelous invention, because, like I said, I clip right up to, but not into. Very careful not to clip into that sewing line. And then what I do is I take some fray check, which is kind of a fabric glue that stops fabric from fraying, and I will go over my sewing lines, and that just gives a little bit of extra reinforcing. And I do that before I turn it right side out, and that just helps to reinforce it. So when I'm pushing on it, stuffing and stuff in, it helps the sewing lines to hold even firmer. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope that it's a little informative and interesting. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do the rest of the afternoon, is probably just cut these pieces out and put the fray check on and let it dry. And I generally, when I'm designing or when I'm making a doll, if I'm doing my own thing, I just kind of create as I go. I come up with color schemes. Jay said she likes lavenders and things, so I pulled out, you know, different pieces that might fit with a lavender theme. I mean, this isn't a princess, and she did say black. So there will be black, there will be orange. I'm thinking that there will be a lot of stuff, but I will make lilac a color within the scheme. That and pink and maybe some other stuff. Just have to stay tuned because even I don't know right now exactly what I'm making, except that it's a witch. And this is what its body is made up of. So I'll see you soon. Thanks for sticking in with me. Take care. Be back. Okay, and I'm back. I got all my pieces cut out. And it's July 6th. And it hasn't been that long. So here are the hands. Well, the arms with hands attached. And the legs. 2 legs. The head. And the body. Now, one thing I should say is that this doll is going to be, I'm going to put fray check around the seams. I'm going to wait till it dries. I'm going to turn it right side out. I'm going to gesso parts of it. I'm going to paint parts of it. I'm going to put fabric on it in clothing and that kind of thing. And mohair for hair and a hat. So this is going to be a well-covered doll. If you were making a doll for show, you wouldn't be able to do your seams with pencil or use this pinking shear method unless you're doing, you can iron fabric stabilizer onto your fabric before you do your patterning, which will give it an extra thickness and not make it so transparent, because muslin isn't a very heavy fabric. I'm sure most of you know that. It's a very lightweight fabric that you can kind of see through once, you know, like if I get the stuffing in here and everything, and I turn this around, a lot of times you may even be able to see these little points from my pinking shears. So that's just something else. This is an opening in the head that I'll be able to stuff through. And this is the neck opening that I will also be able to add some stuffing to, and a stabilizer to put it into the body. But I wanted to make that point that this fabric is thin, and if I weren't going to paint it and gesso it, maybe fancy it up, I would have had to put a stabilizer on it and probably not use my pinking shears exclusively and cutting it out. And I also said with the hand that I was going to do the double line around the fingers, and I did do that. So all I'm going to do is take my, you can use regular scissors or just happen to pick up my applique scissors, and very carefully I am just going to cut down between the sewing line, not on the sewing line, to that little squared off sewn line that I made in the bottom. This will all have fray check on it, all the way around these fingers. And I'll cut down this one, being very careful not to nick those sewn seams. And I'll probably round off the top corners of the fingers, maybe clip in a little bit further, just to make sure that nothing gets hung up. So she now has 4 fingers. Looks pretty funny, doesn't it, when it's not turned right side out? But see, this is what I mean. You would clip down to the seam but not through it. And that way this gives a little extra at the tip of the finger too that I like. I might put an extra clip between that point on the pinking shear point, just because that is a substantial curve in the hand. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other hand. I guess you might as well watch me. What the heck? This I really got a wide line on. This I'm going to have a hard time stuffing because I got very narrow on the inside of the fingers. Don't know what I was thinking, making it harder for myself. Trying to make sure I don't hit that bottom seam. Which isn't terrible. When I get it turned out, if I ever did anything like that, I could just, you know, take a few extra stitches because it's going to be decorated. I will paint most of the body that's exposed will have paint or another piece of fabric on it. Okay, so now she has 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. Yay! Okay, I really don't think this head's going to work, but we'll worry about it when we get to it. Right now, when I talk about fray check, Dritz fray check is what I mean. And I don't really like this applicator bottle. It has this, which you can put, see the slit? I haven't used this in a while, so it's going to be interesting if I can even get anything to come out. Nope. Okay. Well, if I take this green cap off, I think I have a regular nozzle underneath it. Yeah. All right, so there's the regular nozzle. I like that a lot better. I have a pin. Got lots of pins. I will just make sure it's got an open. I'm not left-handed, I'm right-handed. Some things I have to do right-handed. Yeah, I think this is closed up tight. There we go. Oh no. I'm gonna have to go get pliers because now I broke the top of my pin off in there. I'll be right back. Excuse me. At least I knew right where they were. Okay, back at it. Pin. Put that down so I don't forget to throw it out. Okay, so now I can probably put this top back on. And what I can do with this top is because it has this slit opening, I can just put the fabric inside that channel and squeeze maybe. Nope, I guess I can't. Try and try again. Okay. I'm hoping I can get at least the fingers done. Because what I want to do is I want to put this right, there it goes. I don't know if you can see the little wet spot on the, but that's the fray check. It's not working very well. Oh well, let's try a quilting pin. It might be thinner. I know it's going all the way in. But these fingers are the important areas to me to get fray check on. And I'm trying just to go around the seam. The way that it wicks into the fabric though, so it will kind of go all over, but that's okay. I'll still be able to turn them right side out. I have all kinds of tube turning tools to turn fabric or turn fingers and things with. Okay, that's one hand. I'm going to put some on the back side at the base of the fingers too. And I like to put it at the tips of the fingers. I went down both sides of the fingers too, but I'm just putting some extra on the back side. And I'll lay it on that plastic bag so it doesn't get stuck, because it would get stuck. Okay, the dogs are barking. Most of them are outside. My granddaughter's out there sitting in the car with her boyfriend. We can't figure out that the dogs bark, because there are strange things in their territory. Okay, I just want to show this. I'm not doing all of this on camera because it takes too long. These are my hemostats, just like surgeons use to pinch off veins, but these are Cali-Bell ones. And I will reach inside the leg. This is the leg. And I'm going to bring it around and I'm going to grab as close to the toe as I can get. I just open up the hemostat and pinch it. And then I can just, well, not like that. Can't quite do it all at once. But just pull it back, just like turning anything right side out. Not my most favorite part, I have to admit. I have ink on my fingers because I was playing around with the date stamp. But it won't come off. I've already washed my hands, so. Eventually. Alright, so now it doesn't look too good, but the end of the hemostats are pretty blunt. So I'm just going to push them back down in there. And because they're nice and long, it'll push everything out pretty nicely. I'm just going to try to get the heel out. Let's see if that high heel will come out. Come out, wherever you are. Maybe it's back that way. Yep, there it is. Okay, so there's the heel and the shoe, and there's the foot, and the toe, and the leg. And once you lay it all out, I'll stuff that puppy, and it'll be a leg. Now for the fingers, I don't think the fingers are going to be that easy. This is a turning spot and stuffing spot for the arm. I'm trying to hold the hemostats apart a little bit so I can grab it, but these fingers are pretty skinny. I do have tube turners, but I don't like using them. They're hard. But it looks like I'm going to have to, so I'm probably not going to do this on video because I have to, well, see, I pulled the thumb. Actually, what I can do is, now that I have the thumb, I can pull everything this way. Well, no, I better not. It's been a long time since I've done this. I forget exactly how I want to do it. Now this one's the head. I'm going to go through the top of the head. Here's the nose. I'm going to grab the nose. Pull the nose in. I'm going to grab the chin. And pull that chin in as much as I can. Maybe push it a little bit. Then I'm going to go back through the top of the head. And grab this neck opening. Kind of push both sides into the hemostat and clamp them, because that way I don't have to worry about them letting go. If I pull hard enough that they let go, I could be in trouble with ripping a whole section out of the fabric, which would be a bad thing. Now, the seams are pretty tough, but you still have to be a little bit gentle. Not my middle name. I get a little anxious to get to the more fun parts, and forget what I'm doing. Now see, that's the neck. That's why I'm not sure this is going to work. But we'll see, because I've had a thought about what I can do. But right now the nose and the chin, actually the nose and the chin might change places. She may have an upside down head. No, she can't. Because her head right now looks like that. That's her chin. That's her nose. Her mouth will be in here. Her eyes will be about here. And the rest of that is head. And she'll have her witchy hat. And she'll be a happy girl. I have to push that nose out further. I know the nose is bigger than that. It's hard to do this because I have to see what I'm doing. There we go. That's better. And remember, that's the chin, not the mouth isn't gaping open. That's the chin. And let's see, I turned for the body. The body's actually easy. I left the bottom open. I'm just going to stick both sides of the neck. The neck is open too. So I think I'm going to try to put the neck into the body and use a couple of buttons so that the head will turn too, but I'm not sure. I have to see. When all is said and done, if the neck opening is big enough for me to do much with, I may have to redesign it. I'm hoping that. I think I can make it work. Have to go let the dogs back in, because God forbid anyone should get out of the car and come and let the dogs in. Just not happening. So anyway, there's that. When I stuff it, she'll get her curves. So there you go. I'm going to try to put it together, or turn it all right side out. And more later, gotta go get the dogs.